the founder of Betafy, Jeevan Betigeri.
Hi guys, my name is Jeevan. I'm the founder of Betafy. Um, hey there. So yeah, quickly, I know the time's kind of ticking on me here. So uh, I just wanted to kind of go over, the problem that I was trying to solve and what led me to Betafy. So I own a dev shop here in Dallas, office out of the Node, and work with startups to a large extent. Completely independently, I began to see two problems. First is, especially when I was working with B2C clients, we would build the product and then everybody would kind of, get a little clueless, start running for, trying to find answers, what do we do next? And so it was kind of a painful stage to be at as a startup. Would hurt them, would hurt us, nobody would really be happy. Completely independently of all of this, I had a few friends of mine reach out to me and say that, hey, you know what? We are trying to look for jobs in like software testing. We don't know what to do. Can you allow us to? Can we come and volunteer with you? And so suddenly it kind of dawned on me that there is a solution right here. And so what I began to do was I began to pair these volunteer testers with clients who were needing like the feedback that could help them. And I quickly began to see a very good feedback loop going on. And so began to help both ends of the problem. So the startup clients began to get early feedback, would help them to increase their financial runway just a little bit. And so likewise, the software testers, they began to get real experience, and they went on to get actual jobs. So this thing was actually working. So I decided to expand on the idea, and I put together a website where I thought, let me start inviting startups, let me start inviting beta users and software testers and kind of see if I'm able to actually expand on this idea. And sure enough, Betafy kind of began to take shape, and it soon began to kind of, it evolved into this symbiotic platform where on one end we had startups, on the other we had beta users and software testers, and the idea that both would provide, both would trade a certain value to mutually benefit. So that kind of began to kind of take place. And so that really is what Betafy is all about. In terms of how Betafy really looks, there are three parts to Betafy at a very macro level. The first is the homepage. This is where all startups get listed. All as in at least the ones that listen to me and get their listing right and everything is good and dandy. If they don't listen to me, they don't make it to the front page. But for the hard work that they put in, I try to make sure that they get the gains out of it, which you'll get to see shortly. The second part is for a startup to be able to integrate with Betafy in a much better way and get much more relevant feedback hands-on. So a user, a Betafy user, could actually go to a startup's website, and while they're there, they can actually provide feedback saying that, hey, this is working, this is not, maybe you should do this and this. We are still working to enhance and improve this, but yeah, the Betafy button is now available for all web apps, and we are working to get the iOS and Android SDKs out soon. The third part is the dashboard for the startup. So this is where a startup comes in and gets to use the Betafy algorithm to smart match with users who they could engage with to get good feedback, get feedback and notes, software tickets, issues, whatnot. So this essentially is like the three main parts of Betafy. Kind of jumping to the numbers. When I first started with the concept of Betafy, and I was still trying to figure out what the initial a face of Betafy would look like, I created a landing page, and this kind of helped me, vet the concept a little bit when I saw that we had like 400 signups in 2 months, and I didn't even spread a single bit of word about this out in the open market. It was just close friends at that point of time. After we launched, I got hunted and Betafy made it to the number 2 spot on Product Hunt, and it was a huge shot in the arm. Thank you. Thank you. So where are we now? As of yesterday, we have had 554 startups. Thank you.
Awesome. Great job. Is this mic? Can you hear me? Is this mic on? All right. Q&A. We've got one right here.
Can you walk me through that slide right there, please?
Could not hear you. Oh, this. So in terms of the numbers, we have had 554 startups that have signed up thus far, almost 2,000 users who have signed up. In terms of the startups that have been published, the guys who listen to me, their listings have gotten 32,000 page views. We've had substantial interaction where startups have requested 3,200 beta requests. So at times it's the users as well who've kind of requested access to startups, and then 902 actual connections have been made between startups and beta users. So these are the main stats of Betafy right now. The future, strive to continue to help startups and see how we can give opportunities.
Any more questions?
What's your revenue model?
I'm kind of still working through the revenue model. There are 4 possible avenues at this point of time that I'm exploring. The concept started as a means to help both the startups as well as folks who are looking for opportunities, and that's still at the root of it. So I still continue to hone through how Betafy will actually find a true revenue model.
Could you expand a little bit more on the symbiotic relationship between the startups and Betafy?
Yeah, so in terms of what the startup can offer as a part of the symbiotic relationship, a startup, typically a startup that's either in pre-beta or beta, is not perfect, yet it is good enough where it can offer itself to be evaluated. This is also the point where the startup needs most feedback, and kind of the early feedback that will really help make those crucial decisions for the startup. On the other end, you have folks who A, want to interact with the startup, B, want to get as much of a software product exposure as possible, either for usability purposes or for gaining experience in software testing. These are the guys who will come in and make use of this opportunity and start providing the feedback to the startup. So the startup kind of gives its features, allows its features to be used for the sake of folks getting experience, and in turn, the folks who are interacting with the startup get to provide the feedback that the startup so badly needs. So that's the symbiosis going on.
How do startups protect their IP in your model?
At this point of time, the assumption is that the startup, so for a startup to be listed on Betafy, it is a conscious decision on their part. When they list on Betafy, they are like any other beta product out there. And so by then, they would have already started marketing and the IP ownership and all those questions. At this point of time, at least, I've left it completely up to the startup. When they come to us, they are almost in public domain.
Let me get this straight. If I am a wannabe quality assurance person and I want to become a guru, I would come to Betafy, I would sign up, and I would start testing, logging bugs and things like that, and build a portfolio that I would then be able to expose to potential employers?
Yes.
Okay.
Betafy definitely will allow you to gather all the data, and then whether you're a student or whether you are an individual who's trying to use this data, you can then showcase all of this information and then use it. Because this is vetted. We know that a certain user has done a certain amount of work. And if the user can get to use that and expose that out to the prospective employer and get a opportunity out of it, yeah, that's the whole point. And this actually kind of worked even before the platform took shape, which is why Betafy evolved the way it did. So.
All right. In terms of over here. In terms of privacy, when utilizing a beta user, and now in the age of social media, how are you protecting the privacy of some of these underdeveloped programs or what have you between the beta users and the general public when they have things that they're trusting with the beta users?
Awesome. Thanks for asking this. As a part of the whole, so a beta user can choose if they want to have a public profile or if they want to stay private. Further, a startup also can decide if they want to list their product publicly or if they want to stay private and involve individuals, individual beta users privately. So there definitely is that option that allows them to stay kind of completely under the radar. So, awesome. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate the opportunity.
That was fun. All right, up